Well, hello. If it's Monday, it's Beyond Babbitt. And this is your host, Brian Anthony. Well, welcome. No war report today. There's going to be some elements of that in this report. But this report is about America. Meet the new boss, China. Your new America, USA. Meet your new landlords, China. America, meet your new rulers, China. America, meet your new captors, China. Sad. I'm an American citizen, United States, USA. Sad. What the Chinese have been able to do with the help of American politicians, with the help of the deep state, the Illuminati, the elite, from the Clintons up. Within the last 25 years, China has modernized from something like a North Korea or a Cuba with ancient, antiquated military and falling apart infrastructure to the most advanced in the world with U.S. secrets, U.S. patents, U.S. intellectual properties, with secret funding from U.S. companies. Do you have anything? Do you own anything? Is there anything in your house not made in China? It's not a joke. It's serious. Now, I'm not saying where it was designed. Everything can be designed. You have things designed all over. Where was it made? Where was it manufactured? China. The food you're eating. Did you know your food is shipped thousands of miles around the world from China just to get here? You know, it'd be cheaper to just go to a local farmer right down the street, have them even to deliver it. Maybe you can call Uber Eats to deliver from the farmer right down the road there. Fresh apples, organic oranges, plums, bananas, whatever. Nah, they ship it in from China. Baby food, China. Clothes, China. Computers, TVs, everything you can think of comes from China. Okay, our cars don't come from China, right? Our cars, we have U.S. cars that are produced overseas, and German and Japanese and South Korean cars and Italian and British when you get into the expensive things, but they aren't made in China, are they? How about the parts for those cars? Our computers are made in Japan, Germany, some in the US. What about the parts for those computers? You see, ladies and gentlemen, the OBOR is real. One Belt, One Road initiative. You know, a friend of mine once told me that her mother, before she passed, said when you start seeing China come up, it's going to be all over. China's going to take over. They're going to rule everything. They're going to run everything. She said she didn't know what her mother was talking about. I mean, she studied advanced things. Even speaks Japanese. And her mom has been gone a number of years, and I don't know how she knew it or what she knew. Maybe it was by dream or by vision. But she hit it right on the knob. Those things are happening now. It's been rumored that now everything in China, all businesses are state run, right? Communist, right? So the individuals, they say they own a business, but they have to partner with the government. So individuals, it's not capitalist nation like that. It's communist, socialist, and they do business with capitalists, but it's for, the greater good, quote unquote. So since 1993, the U.S. has been systematically being removed from being the world's superpower, and China has been systematically put in place to replace the United States of America. You don't believe me? What about the AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank? It's meant to rival, compete against, and ultimately destroy the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank. It's who lends money to the entire world. A disaster happens, where do you get the money to rebuild? There. And where is it? Hey, United States. What about the petro yuan? Everybody knows that the world reserve currency was the US dollar, the petrodollar, right? Since the 70s, since 1971. Not anymore. Everybody knows that every country who tried to break that deal, who tried to say, we're not going to use the dollar to buy oil anymore. Matter of fact, we're not going to use the dollar anymore anyway. Something's happened to the leaders who've done that. Something's happened to the government. They somehow become terrorists or get taken over by terrorists or some type of war, some type of mishap always happens. There are always like oil producing nations and nations that have a lot of gold. And those things tend to come up missing, right? After the dictator or the leader or elected official or whoever it is, king, queen, or whatever, disappears. It's not going to happen to China like that. I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that Trump is in right now because he ran against Hillary. If it was up to Hillary, remember, Bill is the one who started selling us out, selling trade secrets. You know, Chinese come, leave the money, and walk out with the briefcase. Military secrets. The Chinese now have the fastest computer on Earth, the quantum computer. Yeah, and not even advanced nations like Germany, Japan, Russia, the U.S. can compete. Not even India. Not yet. And we're at the point now to where I'll get to this in another series, but they shall mingle their seed with the seed of men. Singularity. Brain cells on silicon. Brain cells on microchips, and vice versa. You're going to be able to download memory to the human body. Yeah, with a chip, with a memory chip. You're going to be able to plug right into the board, like on The Matrix and all that other movies. You think it's funny? No, it's not. It's a reason why Deagle said the United States of America, which has 327 million people in it today, is going to be down to 99 million people within 7 years. See? Where are they going to go? What's going to happen? You know about the wars and rumors of wars, right? China's been preparing for this. They've made all the deals. We weren't included. The people around the world weren't included, but the new Silk Road, the Road and Belt Initiative, RBI, or OBOR, One Belt, One Road. China's getting serious. Um, they're basically, see, China was in a place to where they're the most populous country on Earth. China has 3 times the population of the United States. The closest country in population is India, and it's several It's over 100 million short, several hundred million short. So that lets you know how many people China had. So they had a problem. They weren't modernizing. Pollution is horrible. Not producing their own food. And no oil, no gas in China. So that nation was going to die. Not anymore. Because now they've done deals all around the world. Every continent, every country. Free money. It's slave labor. Chinese will enslave their people to get you cheap goods. But the Chinese have a 200-year plan, 250-year plan. See, they want to conquer the U.S. without firing a shot. And if they can make us collapse. So let's get into what we're talking about, shall we? So China most of the people are urban. All those billions of people, there's a lot of space in China. So they still live like, you ever watch those old karate movies, those old kung fu movies? That's how a lot of those people still live, primitive. But China has built over 12 enormous ghost cities like New York that can hold millions of people. And they're empty, absolutely empty, except for 2 or 3 people to clean the streets and stuff like that, to wash the windows. But there's no one there yet. So let's get into this. How can I do it like this? Yeah, we can see it. 12 eerie photos of enormous Chinese cities completely empty. Here's one. Throughout China, there are hundreds of cities that have almost everything one needs for a modern urban lifestyle. High-rise apartment complexes, developed waterfront, skyscrapers, and even public art. Everything, that is, except for one major factor: people. These mysterious and almost completely empty cities are part of China's larger plan to move up to 300 million citizens currently living in rural areas into urban locations. Places like Kangbashi district of Ordos are already prepped and ready to be occupied. Look at these cities, man. These new Chinese cities are built to the point of near completion before introducing people. Mm-hmm. Because of this, there is an interim period between the final phases of development and when the areas become noticeably populated, during which many of the buildings stand empty. Skyscrapers, man. You know. It was the uniform newness of these cities that originally piqued my interest. Look, man. New York City's all over China. What are they for, you asked? Look, man. Empty. Look at the architecture, man. The buildings are already there. They're just waiting on the people. What they say, build it and they'll come. Look, man, skyscrapers. You know, you take somebody off a farm in one of the little country towns who probably ain't never had no electricity. What they gonna do in a city like this? What they gonna all of a sudden become an engineer? Wow, look at this, man. You see? These images are documenting a complex moment in Chinese urbanization. Many of these new cities are not expected to become complete or vibrant until 15 to 25 years after they begin construction. They are built for the distant future, and at present we can only speculate on what form they will take. On what form they will have taken when they reach this point in time. Look, man, they got bridges and artwork, and look at this. Now, why would they do that? So we know already that China is buying um, all these third world countries around the world seaports. China owns all the U.S. seaports. Did you know that? They could stop us from receiving goods on our own shores. It's not the only thing. Why do I say China's going to be our new boss? Well, that's a good question. Now, communists don't believe in God, and they don't allow their citizens to believe in God. China does have some Christians, but there's a state-run religion. You can't just go and get a King James Bible and read it and pray in your own home or invite other people over to read and pray. No, you have to get a state-issued Bible. They tell you what's approved, and they reword it and make it to okay. Now this is the version you can have and teach from. I mean, but you just gotta let us know your every move. You can't have no surprise prayer meetings or go meet with anybody to teach them about the Bible or anything like that. It's off limits. You could die. You could be beheaded. I'm saying die for his name's sake. You know what I'm saying? Tribulation. Great tribulation. So, some rumors going around that China owns most of New York, most of Manhattan, has purchased it, most of California, most of the U.S. infrastructure. So, China, I don't know how many thousands of miles it is away from the U.S., anywhere between 4,000 and 7,000 miles. Why do I mention that? Let's say some country, it's not necessarily an ally of ours. Let's just say, I'm trying to think of somewhere far away like that. Let's say Vietnam. Their citizens have guns. Would the U.S. president or U.S. politician, make it a statement to be like, the citizens have to get rid of your guns. I'm calling for you to get rid of your guns. Probably not, because what business is it of ours? If they want guns, let them have guns. It's not like they can shoot a gun and the bullet goes 4,000 to 7,000 miles over the sea and bother us here. If that's something they do there, that's what they do there. That's like us telling, China, they have a festival to where they eat dogs. It's like us telling China, you can't eat any more dogs. I want to see PETA, the animal protection people, go over there and tell them, you can't eat dogs anymore. Oh, yeah? No, they don't say that. You know why? It's none of our business, man. They're on the other side of the world. Now, if they come here, then we have to tell them, well, that's not a practice that we approve of, and we'd like you to refrain from that. But China has told us publicly, on the media, from their government, the U.S. has to disarm. The U.S. citizens have to disarm. What? And why is that? I'll tell you why. Because how can they invade? How can they take control of the country, of the real estate, of everything they've purchased, if the citizen has guns who may not go along willingly? They may have a fight on their hands. Remember, that's why Japan said they didn't invade in World War II. They said behind every blade of grass would be somebody with a gun. Now, that's what they're afraid of. Chinese state media demands U.S. citizens be disarmed. This is a Breitbart article. See? The official Chinese government news agency, Xinhua, has demanded the U.S. immediately adopt stricter gun control measures to reduce the number of firearms the U.S. populace is permitted to possess. What? The populace? Shouldn't you be worried about the military? No, because you coming on the mainland. You coming over here to do something. The Chinese state-controlled media's statement tilted, innocent blood demands no delay for U.S. gun control. It's primarily focused on the Newton tragedy in which 26 Americans were killed by a mad gunman. 20 other victims were young children. Now, this article is, I believe, 2012. So it's been a few years ago. But that doesn't change the fact that they are still calling for us to be disarmed. And this was openly. The Chinese government says their blood and tears demand no delay for U.S. gun control. Don't that sound like hypocrisy? Remember Chairman Mao, Tiananmen Square, where Chinese were running over people with tanks? Come on, man. Yeah, and you talking about the citizens being armed? Yeah, I know, because you try to run over us with a tank, we're going to blow your tank up, and when you get out, we're going to shoot you. I hate to say it like that, but hey, man, hey, it's war. In an apparent effort to restrict information to their populace, the Chinese government wrote of a number of U.S. mass shootings, but failed to mention they were either stopped by a citizen legally carrying a firearm or otherwise only occurred in the controversial gun-free zones that critics say make prime targets for madmen. The Chinese government states the past 6 months have been seeing enough shootings, rampages in the United States. Just 3 days ago, 3 people were shot dead at a shopping mall in Oregon. 2 weeks ago, a football player shot his girlfriend dead and then committed suicide. 5 months ago, 12 people were killed and 58 wounded in a shooting spree at a midnight screening of Batman film in Colorado. The government went on to express a strong dislike for the National Rifle Association, while also attacking the Republican Party as somehow complicit in the violence. Conversely, the article heaps praise on the Democratic Party. You see what I'm saying? Democratic Party. That lets me know that the Democrats are already sold out. Is that why they supporting, everything that goes against our Constitution? Is that why they're supporting everything that goes against our Bill of Rights? They're supporting Communist China, and Communist China is supporting them as well. The Clinton government launched a series of gun control policies at the end of the last century, and the Democrats lost the congressional election in 1994 and the presidential election in 2000, with the shadow of NRA present in both defeats. The current Chinese government and Communist People's Republic of China was established in a revolution led by Mao Zedong, who killed an estimated 40 to 70 million people with starvation, executions, and re-education camps. So you know what's going to happen if China takes over the U.S., right? You know what's going to happen if China takes over the U.S., right? You don't know? You don't know what's going to happen? Let me show you. China's crackdown on Christians. Terrifying re-education camps revealed. Re-education camps revealed. Now let's look at the numbers, right? More than 100 Christians, including church leaders, have been sent to re-education camps as China carries out a relentless to crack down on religion. It can be revealed. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to pray, teach. No, you're going to jail or you're going to the graveyard. Charity Open Doors said scores of Christians have been sent to re-education over the past few months, where they are taught to be loyal to communist ideology instead of religion. Most of those targeted are from the Xinjiang region, and according to William Nee, a China expert with Amnesty International, Chinese authorities have quotas they must meet under the new religious freedom crackdown. Mr. Nee told Express UK, what has happened in the Xinjiang region is a human rights disaster like the Rohingya crisis, although it hasn't received as much coverage. I have heard that some Christians have been sent there, but they mostly target ethnic minorities. They are forcibly removed from their homes by police, often in a black hood. They are taken to these camps, which are very much like prisons. Many prisons often also serve as re-education centers. There have been reports of physical abuse and several deaths in these centers. He added, there is an estimated 5,000 people who have been forcibly taken to these re-education camps, which are also known under the guise of citizen study centers and anti-extremist centers. Unofficial figures suggest there could be as many as 85,000 people detained under the regulations of religious affairs, which came into effect on February the 1st. Churches have to be officially registered in the state and adhere to the rules set by Chinese authorities. As a result, many houses, churches have been closed. Many, probably house churches, because a lot of them have home churches. According to Mr. Ni, he added, overall, things are getting worse. Anything that happens outside of the official remit, and they crack down on it. Xinjiang province has been described as one of the most intensely monitored areas in the world.
That is terrible. So, re-education camps. What do you think? So you were like, I don't care. I'm not a Christian anyway. Serves them right. Okay. Well, let's check this one.
China has been forcing Muslims to drink alcohol and eat pork in re-education camps. Uh-oh. A report with substantial eyewitness accounts and government documents shows the large-scale detention of ethnic Muslim minorities. Accounts of Muslim minorities being detained at the re-education camps in, there we go again, Xinjiang, China, have been slowly trickling into the media for nearly a year. On May 15, 2018, Adrian Zenz published a report with corroborating accounts, including the government's own sources, showing that officials have created large-scale re-education camps in which several hundred thousand, see, at first it was 100, not 1,000, several hundred thousand to over 1 million, see, over 1 million Muslims have been detained and subjected to torture, brainwashing, and humiliation. Zing of the European School of Culture and Theology in Korntal, Germany, is a leading authority on the crackdown. What? In Xinjiang. People being detained at the camps are primarily, don't let me butcher it, Uyghurs, the predominant ethnic group in the region, Kazakhs, and Kyrgyz. After being arrested and interrogated, people who are dispatched to the camps are forced to study communist propaganda for hours and give thanks to the president by chanting, "Long live Xi Jinping! Long live Xi Jinping!" See, the China's going to be a major player when the get here. Oh, I'm sorry, when he comes back. Y'all already alive. Y'all know him. They also reportedly had to learn the national anthem and sing communist songs. Look at China. Look how big it is. You see? See, this is over here. They getting all these guys. Because Kazakhstan is where the Islamics are. But they look Chinese. They tall, but they tall Chinese Muslims. Afghanistan Muslim. Nepal is basically Hindu and Buddhist. India, they got Muslims around there as well, but it's mainly, these here are mainly Hindu and Buddhist countries. And Muslim, communist. You are not allowed to have a religion in here. North Korea, South Korea, Japan, Russia. Okay. Some inmates have been forced to eat pork, which is forbidden in Islam, and religious extremists are forced to drink alcohol. If inmates don't follow the rules, they are placed in handcuffs for hours. They're also subjected to waterboarding, that's torture, or strapped to a metal contraption called tiger chair for long periods of time. It's been reported that some inmates have even committed suicide. In 2014, the Chinese Communist Party announced a People's War on Terror. But in Xinjiang, the proclamation has increasingly turned to a war on religion and ethnic cultural identity. The Chinese government has officially declined these camps exist. The only statement to date issued by a public official was in reference to a CNN report on the camps in which Zhang Wei, China's consul general in Kazakhstan, said, "We do not have such an idea in China." But Zen's obtained information from 73 official government procurement and construction bids valued at around $108 million that point to the establishment of camps across the region. In many of the procurement bid documents, officials ordered security features that would turn sites into prison-like compounds. Such features include barbed wire, reinforced security doors, surveillance system, watchtowers, guard rooms for police, and fences.
It's getting serious. Not just Christianity, Islam. Didn't Albert Pike say that, though? I think that's what he said. He predicted for the Third World War. He's going to pit the Christians and the Jews and Islam against each other. And he said after that, he's going to release the nihilists. These are the people who, the anarchists, they don't believe in any type of God. And they're going to kill off all the people that believe in some type of God. And then the anti is going to come in saying he's God, and he's going to make them believe in Lucifer. Don't worry, it's some stuff we're going to get into. The new series I'm doing on 2018 is Great Tribulation. And there will be no rapture. Stay tuned. We're going to get deep into it. This stuff, I already knew about this years ago, just from reading prophecies from 2,000 years ago, 2,000 plus years ago. So I'm already prepared in my mind and in my heart. To see it come to pass is like, wow, I read about that. I'm not afraid. I just need more people like me, you know what I'm saying? Like-minded. We got to fight. Somebody going to fight. Somebody got to make war against the anti. That's us, folks. It's a spiritual war. Yeah, but that's not it. You know what I'm saying? Because then faith without works is dead. Okay. So now, we're about to be in this economic collapse, right? Maybe. Let's just go through the rest of these articles real quick, because I believe you get the picture. You know, my listeners are the best. My viewers are the best in the world, so I know you're getting it. Especially if you've been paying attention to the No Rapture series. So we already know that China has the re-education camps, right? And it's to brainwashers, to make you think a certain way. Well, they made other moves to brainwash the U.S. public, not just to disarm us. How? How so? They own our entertainment. The movie theaters, the movie chains, they tell us what we see, what we can show and can't show. As a matter of fact, if you remember the last Red Dawn movie, not the first one from like, what was that, the 80s? The one that came out like in the last 10 years or whatever. Red Dawn. It was going to be that China invades the U.S. China made them change the script. They made them turn it into North Korea invading the U.S. Yeah. That's an order.
The Chinese Communist Party's richest man is now the biggest owner of U.S. movie theaters. Now remember, he can't work for himself. In other words, he's a Chinese representative. This man represents the Chinese government. You just can't go to another country and do business like you want without reporting to the motherland. So he's an agent of China. So let's see when is this thing dated? What's the date on it? We'll get into it. Okay. AMC Entertainment, the movie theater chain owned by Chinese conglomerate Dalian Wanda, has purchased Carmike Cinemas, a rival 3,000 screen chain known as America's Hometown Theater Circuit, for $1.1 billion. The deal puts AMC into the top spot in the U.S. movie theater industry, with 8,380 screens in over 600 theaters across the country. It also puts even more of the U.S. entertainment industry into Chinese control as deep-pocketed Chinese tycoons seek partnerships with Hollywood studios, gaming companies, Now, the gaming companies, there was a game that was supposed to come out this month, or was it last month? I think it's called Shooter, where kids go to the high schools and have mass shootings. You get points, you win by seeing how many people you can kill, just randomly shooting people at the school. They had them pull it. It was so many petitions. They signed the petition and they had them pull the game. But we know Chinese might be behind this because these kids are easily Chinese controlled. Chinese control. These kids are easily brainwashed. They have re-education camps anyway. Okay, gaming companies and digital effects studios. Wang Jianlin, who owns Dillian Wanda, has been one of the most aggressive. The group purchased Jurassic World, produced legendary entertainment in January for $3.5 billion. After the Carmack deal closes, the U.S. movie theater landscape will be dominated by AMC, followed by Regal Entertainment and Cinemark theaters, before fragmenting into dozens of smaller chains, many of them family-owned. America's largest movie theater chains. Yeah, Chinese own these, baby. Now these Americans own these, I believe. Who knows? But this up here, all the Chinese own that, man. Chinese, baby. They determine what you're gonna watch at the theater. Not anyone here. Wang, who is China's richest man, is a former commander in the People's Liberation Army. Is a farmer. Farmer? I mean, do you ever get out? Come on, man. You can't. Come on, man. How you get a billionaire and you're a commander in the army? Come on, Jack. Wang, who is China's richest man, is a former commander in the People's Liberation Army and the current delegate to the Chinese People's National Congress, as well as a member of the advisory board to the Communist Party. Some of his current and former businesses are closely linked to the family or current President Xi Jinping. The New York Times knows what's going on. Xi Jinping just gave himself a lifetime appointment. He ain't going nowhere. So the stuff they're doing now, it ain't going nowhere. So don't be surprised if they censor this video. So you might want to send it to everybody like right now. Hit the like button down there. Hit the subscribe, share, because anything you put Chinese in there, hey man, they're gonna monitor it. It could be a problem. I'm just gonna tell you, I already know how they operate. You know what I mean? But hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. The Bible told us this was gonna happen. So you think it's gonna come to a shooting war with China? Because really, Trump and North Korea are supposed to meet next week, in 2 weeks, or something like that. But China got a lot to say with that. You know what I'm saying? China said they want something out the deal. They want us to get out of them islands over there, the South China Sea. Because it's three fronts to the war right now. It's three fronts to the war. South China Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea. And then the unseen war where the sneak attack is going to happen is between the Pacific and the Atlantic. All the troops right now are being staged in the South China Sea, Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea. See what I'm saying? So that's the European nations, North Africa and the Middle East, Russia in the Middle East, China, and all the Asian countries. And then Pacific and Atlantic, the U.S. That's what's happening right now. So we know we'll talk about the Spratly Islands and all the Chinese building all those reefs and intimidating its neighbors. All that can come later. You know what I'm saying? We're just looking at right now the U.S., how we're currently being misplaced and displaced and replaced by the Chinese right before our eyes. And our leaders are complicit in it. Trump's not. But he's trying to reverse it, and they're not having it. He's trying to pry Russia away, to pry the wedge away from Russia, so he can wrap his arm around China and, be best friends. But
Nah, China, you can't trust China. Nah, we're too liberal, man. We have freedom, man. They need to control everything. They need us to be slaves, literally. Here's something.
The Waldorf Astoria is now controlled by Beijing, dated February 2018. The Chinese government on Friday seized control of insurance giant Anbang, the free-spending owner of New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel, and said its chairman had been prosecuted, dramatically illustrating Beijing's willingness to crack down on financial risks. Anbang had violated laws and regulations which may seriously endanger the solvency of the company. The China Insurance Regulatory Commission said in a statement announcing the seizure without giving details. The CIRC also said Anbang's chairman and key shareholder Wu Jiahui had been prosecuted for economic crimes. Wu was arrested in June as troubles mounted for one of China's most aggressive buyers overseas assets. I'll show you. Look, Anbang is best known in the United States for its $1.95 billion acquisition of the Waldorf Astoria in 2014. As reported by the Post, the Park Avenue landmark is undergoing a pricey 3-year renovation that will reduce its hotel rooms by 1,000 at its